What's going on, my people? This your boy B Todd, and you are now tuned into LFM TV, and this is the Kendrick Lamar album review, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. We're gonna get right to it. First and foremost, this is a masterpiece. Okay, I don't care what anybody else has to say about it. Part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I haven't heard enough good things about this album. I keep hearing about it's one thing for somebody to say it's not for me, but to say, oh, he ain't got no dance music on there. I don't like to hear music that make me think. That's trash. That's trash. Music's supposed to make you think about different things. It's supposed to let you zone out and open your mind a little bit. So for those of you that's saying, this album in particular wasn't for them because it wasn't enough dance music, your musical IQ is just not up there. I'm sorry. So for me, the standouts on this album, NI5, where he just pretty much talked about shedding all the bullshit. I love that song. Father Time. To me, that was a daddy issue song. I've had daddy issues before. I know how messed up that situation can be, growing up without your pops being there. My situation with my dad didn't get better until me and him talked and I heard his side of the story. So I relate to that song wholeheartedly. Worldwide Steppers. That was about lust, making better choices, having writer's block. Kendrick was basically letting you know, hey, I'm going through some shit. My bad for dropping so late. Or, not early enough for y'all. I'm still human. I'm going through stuff just like you going through stuff. Just because I got money don't mean I'm not going through nothing. We cry together. Toxic relationships. We've all had them. Most of us. We've all had some type of toxicity going on in our relationship where it was a bad back and forth. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, nigga. All of that going on. That was in the song. But that was a standout to me because at the end they got right back to messing around with each other, and that's what makes the situation crazy because I've been through that. This was the most relatable album that I've ever heard in my life. That's why I love the album so much. Even though I don't really care for that song, I still think it's a standout because of what he's talking about. Everybody has had that type of relationship before, and if they haven't, they've experienced through somebody else's lens. So I really appreciate songs like that. Auntie's Diaries. That song right there, in my opinion, that was just, everybody has somebody gay or going through some type of transformation in their family. At least one. We all have at least one person that's going through that. So I understood that song from a different aspect. Because I have an uncle. He passed, God rest his soul, but he was gay. So, but nobody talked crazy about him because he was always fly. My mother, I sober. That to me talked about domestic violence, molestation, grief, revenge, guilt. I mean, all of these things that he talked about in these songs, everybody go through on an everyday basis. So why this album wasn't getting held up at a higher regard, I have no idea. My favorite songs off of the album: N95, Die Hard, Rich Spirit, Purple Heart, Count Me Out, Silent Hill, Savior, and Mr. Morale. Those are my favorite tracks personally. But all in all, I bumped that album a lot, and the more that I listened to it, the better it got. My first time listening to this album, y'all, I was at work like an idiot, trying to soak it all up, and I kept getting distracted, and I couldn't really give it a good ear like I wanted to. So for those of you that's saying that this album is not for you, please make sure you are in the right environment to say that. To actually say, okay, I know this album is not for me. And it's okay that it's not for you. But to downgrade it and make it sound like it's nothing or he preaching, I'm sorry. Y'all just not musically savvy enough to understand where he coming from. This album went over a lot of people's heads. And it shouldn't have, because this is stuff that people go through every day, y'all. Every day. So for somebody that got millions and millions of dollars talking about it, like he's like basically humanizing himself for everybody else to be able to relate to it, what he been going through. This was like, to me, this was his therapeutic album. Like, I love this album. This was definitely his therapy. He needed to make this album. Now, ain't no telling what the next one gonna sound like. It's probably gonna sound better than this, sonically to some people. But to me, this was Kendrick Lamar's best work. I know to some people he fell off or whatever the case may be. But this album to me was a masterpiece. Tell me what y'all think in the comments, man. I love the album. Like I already told you what song I skipped. I will listen to it as a collective from time to time because it all ties in together. But, while Cry Together, my bad, Cry Together. We cry together. That song right there is it's hard to listen to sometimes. So I skip it because it takes me back to a time where I was toxic and I wasn't the greatest man. So I kind of cringe at listening to that song because I'm like, damn, I used to be that type of dude. Like I was on some whole nigga shit. So I really, it's hard for me to listen to that. But like I said, I will listen to it from time to time just to look at how far I've come as far as being a man goes. Like, yo, I don't even do all that no more. I didn't became cool. I didn't got quiet. I didn't turn into the, hey, listen, let's talk about this later when things simmer down type of dude. So, hey, I appreciate that song, but it is hard to listen to. But that's my only skip, if I can honestly say I have a skip. And that's it. Any questions, any comments, please put them in the comment section, man. I appreciate y'all listening. I appreciate y'all watching. That's it. I'm out of here. Indeed.